happy right now.
What? You all right?
Come on, man. Texas A&M is trash, but you want to holler. You want to be in the playoffs. You can't even beat this raggedy Auburn team that we just ran through last Saturday.
What's the what quarter is it in? I won't be watching.
Third quarter.
They'll come back. They'll come back.
Not the way they looking here. They can't tackle to say they like. They let Bo Nix look like he an All-American. Man, dude, the trash.
See, the problem is you bet with your heart.
Yeah.
No, I don't bet with my heart. I bet with statistics. And statistics.
Okay. Do you ever
is a better team?
Do you ever bet on Auburn?
No.
Yeah. Do you ever bet on the Falcons?
No.
Okay. See, you bet with your heart. You don't bet with your brain.
You would think you would think they would come into the game with a better tenacity, wanting to get into the playoffs, trying to make a statement. This should be a statement. Yeah,
exactly. You sitting at number 5, you need to dominate everybody you play to try to prove a point.
Because people going nowadays, if they lose that game, it's
over.
I agree with you. I agree with both of y'all 100%. My point is that Marvin will bet with his heart, not with his brain. All right. Nico, first off, I want to say it's an honor to meet you, man.
You too.
I read up on you.
Get off here, man.
Can I introduce myself? All right. Marvin, count the 5 and let's go.
Are you gonna know what numbers 3, 4 are? I know you. All right.
I just want to say humbly, I thank you for coming on the show, man.
No problem.
So with that said, Marvin, you ready?
Yes. Welcome to another episode of the Marvin Constant Show. I am your host, Marvin Constant. You know, this show sponsored by 40 Plus Strong. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to put up the 40 Plus Strong. Hey, if you haven't grabbed my book yet, you're slipping. Get a copy. Physical and mental fitness at 40 Plus. You can find it at 40plusstrong.com. Don't slip on the process. I'm here with my co-host, the man himself, Joseph. What's going on?
Marvin Constant. What's going on? The hardest hitting man that ever lace up the pads for Alabama University. How you doing?
I'm good, but I don't know about that. You got to take into the fact the Cornelius Bennett's of the world, the Derek Thomases of the world. There's been a lot of very, very, very great linebackers that have came through the University of Alabama. I'm just happy to be in line with them and have played the same position. So,
well, you're right. You're right. You know, I said the hardest hitting man. What I meant to say was the hardest hitting mofo to ever lace up the pads for the University of Alabama. And I'm glad to see you back on your feet. Question: did you see the last episode of the Marvin Constant Show?
Yes, I seen the last episode of my show.
Okay, of course, like on every other show, physical and mental fitness at 40 plus. If you don't got it, man, he's chasing lives, y'all. But with that said, time of this recording is we just beat Auburn.
Yeah. Dismantled them.
Well, you also know Bo Nix was also talking a little trash. And we talked a little trash too. And I want to go ahead and say right now, talking trash is meant to be fun. I don't mean no harm to the Bo Nix family or Cam Newton. It's all meant to be fun. But with that said, Bo Nix was talking trash about Mac Jones, and he really was talking trash a little bit. A lot of people looked this over, but he was also talking trash about the Alabama fan base. So with that said, Bo, you didn't even score no touchdowns. You went 23-38 with 2 interceptions. And that really, you should not talk a lot of trash. And your game was so bad that, quite frankly, former USC Trojan and NFL Hall of Famer and America's favorite running back, O.J. Simpson, even chimed in. Did you know that, Marvin?
I did not.
You didn't
what
talk
did
to
OJ
Bubba.
have to say?
You didn't talk to Bubba from Coleman, Alabama, but Bubba from Coleman, Alabama said he talked with OJ. He called him up, and OJ said, and I quote, said, quite frankly, if he was on the coaching staff, he would cut him.
That is not funny, man. You are special. Oh my God, nothing better to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to another episode of the Marvin Constant Show. Today we have a guest that somebody I've been wanting to talk to for a very long time. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I met this fella back in 2009 when I was interning at the University of Alabama weight room as an assistant strength coach. I met this fine gentleman at that time, and he had so much fire and desire in his eyes, man. I could tell he was hungry for some football in the process, man. He did amazing things while at Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Nico Johnson.
Hey, appreciate the kind words, man. I thank you guys for having me on, man.
Thank you for being here, brother. It's always a pleasure to have another former Alabama linebacker on here. So let's just jump right into it, man. Okay. You from a small town, Andalusia, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
What was it like growing up there, and how did that influence you as you moved through your time at Alabama?
Growing up there, I mean, it's just like any other small town. Everybody knows everybody. So it was kind of just one of those things where, I don't know. I wouldn't say it was tough. You know, my mom struggled. You know, I'm the youngest of 5, 3 brothers, 1 sister. My mom struggled growing up. So in a way, I had to grow up at a young age. You know, my older brother was off living life. My second brother was in and out of prison. My third brother was off to the military, and sister was doing her own thing. So I'm really the only one that's left behind. So mom's struggling. You know, I'm still at home, but at the same time, she's still taking care of her kids. I mean, you know how it is when you go off, whatever, you still gonna come back to mama sometime. So I saw my mom struggle. Growing up though wasn't bad, man. Like because my mom was so busy, I was raised by my grandmother. So that was bittersweet because, you know, I was taught the values of life at a very young age. So I was mature as a younger kid than most kids. You know, had a little smaller job, working, making my own little money, saving to you know, get things that I wanted. But for the most part, it wasn't bad, man. I enjoyed growing up in my hometown, man. I learned a lot at a young age. And then I was able to play the sports I love, from baseball to basketball to football. So that made things a lot easier for me.
Now, growing up in a small town, that also plays a major role in how you have to perform, because we all know the kids who play in larger cities at larger schools tend to be the ones that the recruiting services come find, tend to be the ones that the coaches have on their radar. So coming from a smaller school, how much more difficult was it for you to get attention from national powers like the Alabamas, the Tennessees, the Floridas?
You know, it's crazy. Looking to play football. Like I genuinely played the game of football and basketball because I love the game. And quick story with that, like my family is all military. Dad, brother, cousin, everybody's military. So I wanted to go into the Marines whenever I got done with high school. A coach in Joe Cons, I met at Alabama game, walking from a game against Tennessee. And I met him. Some other fans was talking to him. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm just a big Alabama fan at the time. And you and I both know who Coach Cons is. So I ended up coming to his camp that year. And I think that was Mike Schuler's last year. Ended up coming to a camp and just enjoying the game. Like, this is Alabama. Who don't want to go up, you know what I'm saying, to the University of Alabama at the time. So cool. That was fine. Went back to my hometown. You know, I kind of loved everything about that, but I was still playing the game that I love. me was I'm just happy to put on a helmet. Like, I'm just happy every day to go out here and play the game I love. Like, it was never trying to get to college because, like I've told people before, my mom has never been to college. You know, her kids has never been to college. I was the first one to graduate with a degree from college. So college was never on my radar. Well, I ended up going, you know, a couple of years later because, you know, I'm hearing people tell me, you know, I'm a pretty good player, but I'm not. As Coach Saban, that's rat poison. I'm not trying to hear all that because my mind is Marines. I want to go into the Marines. So I went to a Nick Saban camp. You know, I had people, you know, talking to me before I got there, what I need to do. And I just went and worked hard, man. I just did what I already done before. Was blessed to get a scholarship after that, you know, 3-day camp. And it just seemed like it was a wildfire from there. It went from there to Auburn to LSU to everybody in the country. So now my confidence in playing at the next level is growing. So now I sat back and I analyze myself, like maybe I can play at the next level. So that military mindset is kind of starting to fade away, and that football mindset is starting to come into play. So now I'm starting to think about, dang, I'm from a small town. What about kids from Mobile or, you know, Birmingham? So I'm freaking myself out. So I start working. Like, I start, you know, running every day after workouts and on the weekends, running hills, just doing everything because I felt like me being from a small town, it was going to be harder, you know. And it's crazy because Marvin, used to freak myself out. Like, man, it's a kid up in Birmingham that's going to get an opportunity for me because he's closer to Tuscaloosa than I am. Like, they're not going to know what my hometown is. So I just used to work hard, man. And I kept that mindset, and it ended up paying off for me. But it is nerve-wracking, man. You know, coming from a small town, it's very hard to get noticed. It's a lot easier nowadays because you have social media. But back then, the biggest social media platform was MySpace. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it was very hard.
Yeah, I definitely understand that mindset. It's funny because when I picked Alabama, everybody asked me, why did I commit to Alabama? Because Travis Carroll was there. You know, all-American, all-everything linebacker as a freshman. So everybody asked me, you play the same position as him. Why would you commit to Alabama? I was never worried about him being there. I always knew that I was going to take the job anyway, so I could care less. So, and lo and behold, a year later, I took the job, and Travis ended up transferring to Florida. So, I mean, so, you know, when it's in you, it's in you, you know. So, you know, it doesn't matter what the approach is. At the end of the day, you turned out to be great. And it looks like all of those lessons that you learned, because, again, Tuscaloosa is a small town, too, whether people want to admit it or not. When you grow up in a small town, it teaches you different lessons about life. I will say at times it makes you more naive to the real world and what really goes on. But you learn so many values that you take for granted as an adult that you learn being from a small town. So a lot of things that I learned growing up in Tuscaloosa, I still apply them to my life today. And that's why I'm so successful today. You know, had I grown up in a major city where people are always scamming and scheming, I probably wouldn't have those same values and work ethic. So, I mean, I definitely feel like that it correlates. When you grow up in a small town, you're raised in a way that's going to make you work harder than everybody else. Right. So you get to Alabama. Tell me about your first year. How did that go, and how did that motivate you coming out of that first year? Because I remember what happened that first year.
So when I got there, it was humbleness. You know, they set the freshmen down, you know, Rolando McClain and, you know, Mike Johnson's. They set the freshmen down. They said, hey, those 5 stars don't mean nothing. You got to start all over. You got to prove yourself all over again. So instantly that feeling set back in of when I went from middle school to high school. Like, you know that feeling where you're an 8th grader going to the 9th grade. So that feeling set back in. And I'm like, oh, man, like, I got to work. Like, these guys they've been here. You know what I'm saying? I kind of already knew, like, Dante Hightower, Rolando McClain. I mean, I knew these guys. These guys are dogs. Like, so my mindset was just work. But before that, you know, that humbleness set in. It goes back to what you were saying earlier about a small town. I'm in a small town, but I'm a big fish. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm in a bigger city, and it's a lot of big fish out here. So it don't matter. So now what's going to separate you from everybody else? So I took it. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough at first because I was always a guy. Then I get to Alabama and I got Rolando McClain, Dante Hightower in front of me. So what's going to separate me from everybody else? And that was my mindset. I wanted to be whenever, something happened, Coach Saban was willing, and Coach Smart was willing to call on me to take the reins if something ever happened to Roe or Dante. And that's what happened. Dante gets hurt. I'm playing strictly special teams. A lot of people really don't pay attention to it, but I was playing strictly special teams. Like I didn't touch the field. And I'm glad, I was raised in a small town that taught me no matter how good or bad things are going, or whatever's going on, be grateful for the opportunity and take advantage of it. And that's what happened. I'm playing special team. Dante Hightower get hurt. Well, now, because he's hurt and I've prepared the right way and coach believes in me and trusts in me, I'm a freshman. I was first true freshman besides Dante to start under Nick Saban. I'm thrown in there in the fire for the rest of the season. And it was bittersweet, but at the same time, it's like I didn't want that to happen the way it happened. Dante getting hurt and then I'm getting my opportunity, but I had to go because my teammates had counted on me. To have a junior of Rolando's caliber come to me telling me that he's counting on me, it made me elevate my game. My whole thought process changed from that point on, how I watched film, how I worked out, how I prepared, because I did not want to let my teammates down. So my freshman year, man, it was one for the ages. I mean, I'm dealing with everything as far as, being treated like a freshman, the whole mindset, trying to figure out how I'm going to balance, life outside of football, the whole 9 yards. And then I got to deal with Kirby Smart getting on my ass and Nick Saban getting on my ass, me wondering like, dang, do they even like me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the whole freshman process, man. So I say my freshman year, man, for me was tough. It was tough. It was probably my hardest year mentally because everything was going it was just a whirlwind. But I enjoyed it because that year long taught me just how to be a true professional. Looking at guys like Kareem Jackson, guys like Javier Arenas, and all those guys, and then watching guys like yourself before, like it just that's one thing I've always had that mindset of. I want to be with the when they mention linebackers at Alabama, I'm going to be named with the greats. You know what I'm saying? And that was my mindset. And so that's what I work towards every day. But my freshman year, man, it was tough. It was nerve-wracking, but I got through it. I was blessed to, have, growing pains throughout the season and still be able to perform. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I've been to both Tuscaloosa and Andalusia. And because what I do for a living, I have to travel to Andalusia a lot. Only thing I want to say is y'all need more places to eat.
They when the last time you been though? Because they getting places in there now.
2018. Actually, true story.
Joseph, nobody wants to hear about you stripping at bachelorette parties, okay?
And Andalusia, shout out. Anyway, my question to you is simple. What was Nick Saban like?
For me personally, Coach Saban, like I said, my freshman year, I felt like Coach Saban hated me. I felt like he didn't like me. But as time goes on, I'm starting to realize like he's not coaching me as the freshman and that I am, or the sophomore that I'm going to be in a couple months. He's coaching me for the junior and senior that I'm going to be. And I didn't realize that because I was so young-minded. So Coach Saban was always hard on me. He was always hard on me. And it took for guys like Rolando McClain to tell me he's going to be hard on you because he see a lot of potential in you. That's when he does that to a player, he sees a lot of potential. But Coach was a perfectionist. He's a perfectionist. And that's why he's been able to sustain success, because he's never satisfied. So because of my freshman year and what he, put me through that year, he made me think just like him. So I didn't want to make a mistake. Anytime I made a mistake, I wanted to make sure I got it right. So I was never worried about the scoreboard. I was never worried about the outcome, because I knew if I prepared and got close to perfection, I was going to be okay. but he was. I'm gonna be honest. He was, but he was a guy that saw potential and put effort into everything that they felt like as a player you could be. So I'm very grateful for what he put me through my first couple of years, because it made me a better player, made me a better man. Things like Marvin said, I'm gonna be able to carry on into life. Whenever I know how to handle adversity so well that it becomes just like breathing to me because of Coach Saban. He's instilled that in me. So now whenever I have kids and have a family, I'm going to be okay. And I'm not going to second guess that because of the things I've went through as far as mentally in my college career, coaching, football career. It's crazy, man, how it all correlates.
Actually, you changed my second question. Actually, the second question goes to you and Marvin. Coach Saban, Coach Dubose. Marvin, you've been around both. Nico, I don't know if you ever met Coach Dubose.
I've met him. Been there.
What do y'all think the similarities in coaching styles Coach Dubose and Coach Saban have? Marvin?
I would say the old school approach to it. They both have a very old school approach to it. Nico, y'all are very fortunate because y'all had NCAA regulations to save y'all. Back when I was in school, we did 3-a-days. It was 3-a-days. Yeah. We would be on the field for our first practice at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd have another lunch practice around 11, 12 o'clock. We'd have another practice in the evening at 4:30, 5 o'clock. Oh, we had official 3-a-days. No joke.
I had the first 2 years of 2-a-days. We didn't have to, well, if you count the walkthrough, but walkthrough wasn't bad. But we had 2-a-days. I caught the first 2 years, but yeah.
Nico, no. Full 3-a-days. The first two practice, the first practice and the last practice were all like regular 2-a-day practices. The third practice, the lunchtime practice, was all special teams, but they were all full go. So the second practice was just all special teams practice, which it didn't matter to me because I didn't play special teams. So I would be over there chill. But we legitimately had 3-a-days. Well, let me scratch that because my freshman year when they redshirted me, I had to do them stupid 3-a-days in special team practice. But my sophomore year, though, I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm going to be over here. You know what I'm saying? But it was a very old school approach. Literally, man, we would go to Bryan Hall to eat dinner at night, and we just look around to see who it's going to be because we knew at least 3 to 5 guys were going to go into full body cramps in dinner. And we would be sitting there dying laughing like, who is going to be tonight? You see somebody take that fork and stick that thing, all you hear is, oh, lock up, fall out the chair. Trainers would be there waiting because literally, man, it was hell back then. It was hell.
Yeah, I don't know much about Coach Dubose. The only things, I've been told, and I think Marvin's right. They're both old school guys. I think the one thing with Saban that he doesn't get a lot of credit for is being able to adapt to change. That's why he's been able to sustain success, because he's been able to adapt and stay a step ahead and understand the game has changed, it's changing. And that's why he goes and hires a Lane Kiffin, because he see the game changing and he want to be ahead of the curve. And that's what happened. But I really can't speak on Coach Dubose because I've never been around him to really just pick up. But yeah, Coach Saban, he's an old school guy. He's an old school guy, but he's able to adapt and change and still apply his principles and values of who he is and his philosophy. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm sorry, Marvin. On that second question, let's say it like this: what do you think Nick Saban, out of all the coaches in high school, junior high, NFL, what do you think Nick Saban? How I'll say this? What do you think is different about Nick Saban than all the other coaches that you have coached? Was coach under?
I have to say, for Coach Saban, to me, it's simple. He's never satisfied. He's just never satisfied. That's why I think he's going to coach longer than what people expect. Coach Saban, he's so never satisfied. He's probably still thinks about 2010 When they went into the Iron Bowl last week, he was probably went back and watched the 2010 Iron Bowl. Then when we got beat by Cam Newton and we gave up this and gave up that, he's just never satisfied. He's always looking for ways to get better. And I'm not saying that other coaches that I've been around don't do that, but he's on a different level. Like his mindset is completely different than anybody I've ever been around when it comes to the game of football. And that's why he's able to have success, because I don't know, man, he's just a true definition of a bona fide winner. Like, he wants to win so bad, he's willing to put in the time, the effort, no matter what. I can't name another coach. You got Coach Bryant, Bear Bryant, had the success Coach Saban is having, and other coaches as well. But a lot of coaches nowadays, just being honest, probably would have packed the reins, on the third championship and been okay. But no, Coach Saban, how can I get the fourth? And then how can I get the fifth? And how can I get the sixth? And how can I get to seven? And it never stops. So I just think his mindset is what separates every coach that I've been around. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
You make a very valid point when you say he's adapted. He adapts to change. Well, I mean, you look at his offenses from the 3 yards in a cloud of dust with the Mark Ingrams and the Trent Richardsons to like you said, bringing in Lane Kiffin and Sarkisian and all these guys and what they're doing now. You can say the same for his defense. Look at his linebackers, the Dante Hightower, the Rolando McClains, the bigger, stronger linebackers. Look how he shifted over the years to the C.J. Moses, to the Reuben Fosters, now to the Dylan Moses, the smaller, more agile linebackers that have to cover in space. So, I mean, you can see how he's changed his philosophy completely. So, as a coach yourself now, what lessons are you going to take from Nick and are you going to apply to your coaching style and your players?
The one thing I will want my players, I just want their mindset to have the same mindset I had as a player, because like what I told you earlier about what he instilled in me of never being satisfied. No matter how great of a game, how great of a practice, I still know I can find something to get better. If it's bad, cool, that's fine. Of course you can get better. But having that mindset until that last whistle, if you're able to go and play for a championship or win your division, win your conference, you have room for improvement. And that's one thing I hope one day when I have a room in my own players, I want them to have that mindset. I don't want them to get complacent. That's one thing that he's always preached. He lives on. And I think that's what separates him. He never gets complacent. So it's like, me as a coach, that's what I want my players, to think like, no matter what position it is, I want them to think that way. Never get complacent, because that's really the root of problem in college football. When guys don't have success, they get complacent, especially nowadays. They start reading what's on Twitter, who tweeted about them and all that. And it's so easy nowadays. But that's one thing that I took for him that I want my players to think. Just don't get complacent. Don't get complacent. If you work towards what you need to work towards, you're going to be fine.
Like my high school coach used to always tell us, stop reading your own press clippings, man.
Right.
So speaking of big games, wins, and moments, what was your most fun moment from playing in Bryant-Denny or at Alabama in general?
Ooh. I'll have to say, man, and people look at me crazy when I say it, it was fun playing in 2011, playing the game of the century, because when people look back at that 9-6 game as a defensive player, that's one of my most proud. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give up a touchdown. And we gave up 9 points, like just 3 straight field goals. You know what I'm saying? So as a defensive player, that's what you hang your hat on. And that's probably one of my most proudest moments there. Even though we lost, we came back and was able to redeem ourselves. So that year, those 2 games, honestly, to be able to, not give up a touchdown in a big game like that with the talent they had, and then come back the second game and not give up a touchdown. And then at the same time, I think they crossed the 50 once or twice, and we gave up like 2 first downs the entire game. So those 2 games there, man, was my proudest moments as a defensive player. Because we've always prided ourselves on stopping the run. And, you know, for me and Dante, I can speak for both of us, when they got, you know, the 4 running backs they got rotating them, and it's just me and Dante in here battling for 60 minutes, and then they got a 280-pound fullback that we come in and knock back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we don't give up a touchdown. Like, yeah, man, it gives me chill bumps thinking back on it, man. It's crazy.
I gotta say, man, I loved watching both of those games, especially the championship game, man. I mean, y'all completely shut them down. It was like no matter what they tried to do, it was not happening. I can hands down say that's probably the best defensive performance I've ever seen in a game, whether it's college, NFL, high school. That was total domination. When you talking about a team that was supposed to be as good as they were, for them to be shut down the way that they were, oh my God. Well, best defensive performance I've ever seen.
Our mindset was it was simple for us. Like we felt like we was a better team. You know, we lost 9-6. We missed a couple field goals here and there. Like, we felt like we was a better team. Well, feeling is fine. You got to go prove it. You got to go show it. It is what it is. And we got the opportunity to get in it, to get back in the game, championship game. And when we got in the game, you know, that's when it was a BCS era, so you had a month to prepare for one game. So of course you got Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. You're gonna prepare for everything under the sun just for that one game. But going into that game, we wanted to show like the everybody, because all we heard was we didn't deserve to be in, and this and this and that, and we heard their players complain, their coaches complain. All we wanted to do is go out and dominate like we've been doing all year and prove that we deserve to be here just as much as them, because we did feel like it was a slap in the face. But man, we just wanted to go out and dominate, man. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy, man. Because I'm gonna tell you this. I've lost a total of 5 games my entire 4 years in college, and people don't realize when I say those 5 games, I remember them 5 vividly more than the national championship games that I've been a part of and won. So it's like whenever you lose a game 9-6 after playing you to the wall, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? It hurt. Like, that was the first time I could just say, like, that one really, really hurt. So going into that, you know, getting the opportunity to go into that second game, we want to go in and dominate like big. And we was fortunate we do that.
Well, let me just tell you, man, you know, I played in the BCS era as well. So you don't make me feel as old as some of these other dudes who come on who don't know nothing about the BCS era. So that's cool. That's a plus. But I will say, the kicker cost y'all that game. And I've been in some games like that in Alabama where we had some losses because the kicker couldn't do their job.
Oh, hell. Like, here we go.
Like, how do you continually miss field goals? That dude missed 5 field goals the day y'all lost 9-6, man.
Yeah.
5. How do you miss 5 field goals? At least be 50%, man. Come on, man.
I get it. But the way I look at it, if our offense score, and not put him in a situation, it's different. Or if our defense, you know what I'm saying, go out and get a 3 and out.
Nah, man, stop trying to cover for these raggedy kickers we done had over the years, man. Man, every year it seems like our kicker missing his 3 or 4 toes or something ain't right, man. So it is what it is.
They got a good one now.
Yeah, we got a good one now. I got to ask you though. You suffered knee injury. Mm-hmm. You know, we all know that knee injuries are not pleasant, man, and they definitely change everything in your life. They change how NFL teams view you. They change how you operate on a day-to-day basis, because now you got to add rehab on top of everything else you already have to do. So it just makes your life so much more stressful, so much more complicated. So dealing with all that and recovering from that, as well as being drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, what was that whole process like for you?
Honestly, Marvin, it was my whole NFL career was tough. My senior year, I suffered a lower abdominal strain or sports hernia. So I ended up completely tearing my stuff. So I know I got to have surgery at the end of the year. So shot after shot, I'm playing this senior year. But looking back on it now, I wish I would have, because it happened before like week 2. I wish I would have just said, you know what, I'm going to have surgery. I'm a redshirt this year. Looking back on it, you know what I'm saying? But that young-minded. So played the season. Well, first of all, the whole season, I'm thinking it's a real bad pull growing. So I'm, getting rehab treatment. They're doing certain things to help me out. Well, I get to the Iron Bowl, actually, and I go to Coach Saban, and I'm like, Coach, he knows I don't complain. And I went to him and the training staff there, and I was just like, hey, Coach, like, I really think something is wrong. Like, can I get an MRI? Because something's not right. So I end up going up to Dr. Myers in Philly, and I end up having a sports hernia. So cool. I'm finishing the season out, man. Like, got the national championship coming up and all that against Notre Dame. So shot up, you know how that goes. Win the game. So now I got a decision to make. Do I have surgery or do I go play in the Senior Bowl? So shot again. Senior Bowl. Did well. So as soon as that's over, I had surgery. So now I'm training at IMG, rehabbing, trying to get my body back. So I get my body back. I was blessed to get, drafted by Kansas City. So when I get to Kansas City, I'm still dealing with the sports hernia. So I'm still coming off of that. Well, going to my first year, rookie, trying to figure the way. And preseason, I'm playing well, doing well, getting mentioned here, mentioned there. And boom, I get hurt, high ankle sprain. So my high ankle sprain was so bad, I'm out the next 6-7 weeks. So now 6-7 weeks, that's a lot of experience I've missed. So now I feel like I'm an upfield fight the entire time. So when I leave Kansas City, I go to Cincinnati, I started playing my best ball. I started, getting my confidence back, getting back to myself. And it just didn't work out there. So when I got to, I was in Washington for a little bit. Then when I got to New York, to the Giants, I'm really in my mode now. Like, I'm playing well. I did so well when I got there. I ended up signing a 2-year extension. Well, that last year, I'm like, man, something's wrong with my knee. When I run, I have to, kind of, hop the stop. So I ended up looking, got an MRI, had a, torn meniscus, had surgery, whatever. So now I'm rehabbing. And I'm rehabbing, getting ready because I just signed a 2-year extension. I'm excited. Coach Spags, have talked to me about, hey, he got certain packages he want me to be in. So I'm excited because now I feel like, the feeling as a player, I got somebody that believes in me, that trusted me. So now I'm feeling I got it now. Well, I get a call. Well, I'm gonna just be blunt. My age, my where I rehab at, the head trainer wanted my MRI. So she got my MRI, and she called me like 2 days later and said, hey, did you know you have a partial tear in your ACL? Like, wait, what? No. So that goes on, and I'm not going to get into it because there's a lot of legal stuff going on as well right now.
I got some of that going on too, Steve. I know what you're talking about.
So that's going on, and now I'm out of it, bro. Like, this is the first time I've ever missed a game. Like, I mean, I already had to deal with the issue in Kansas City. I just got back. I just worked my butt off. Like what's going on? So now mentally, I'm out of it, man. So they called my agent and was like, hey, we didn't know about this, know about that. We're gonna fail Nico in the fail physical. So now I'm devastated. So I'm doing everything possible. I'm going to Dr. Andrews, Dr. Cooper, the Cowboys doctor, did my surgery. So I'm torn. Like, they saying, hey, you should play if it's old. I'm saying, hey, well, let me play if it's old. Like, I'm just in the middle. I felt like I was pulled in so many directions. So I'm out of it, man. So that time there was really tough for me. So I'm not gonna lie, I slipped into a depression. You know, that those 2 years I was suicidal. You know what I'm saying? I'm out the game of football. It took for a coach that coaches high school ball in Texas, because at the time I'm living in Frisco, Texas. It took for him to, you know, he trains the Cowboys D-line. It took for him to see how I was struggling with, you know, my rehab and not being able to play. And he asked me to come out and help him coach 13U ball. So I go out and I coach 13U ball with him. And I would never want to be a coach. I just never want to be a coach. It's crazy. Like, I'll go from military to NFL to being a coach, because I feel like I've never had the patience. You know, guys already told me, like, man, you would be a great coach one day. I'm like, can't see it. So he saw that in me as well. And I started helping him out, you know, start coaching these 13U. We playing the Outlaws. We playing Snoop Dogg's team. So it becomes exciting to be able to teach these young 13-year-olds everything you've learned, and you sit back and watch them try and go out and do those things. And I got bit by the coaching bug. So that right there helped me, honestly, help my transition out of the game of football. Because I was in a bad state. I'm not gonna lie. I was gone, man. Like, mentally, I was just out of it. You know, it was so bad, man, to the point where I couldn't sleep. I was drinking a lot, like staying up 72 hours. Like, it was just, I wasn't myself, man. I wasn't myself at all. And it took me a while to get back to me. But the game of football, man, the game of football helped me get back on track. So the transition was tough, but because I was able to coach 13U ball, then, you know, go help that same coach high school ball. So when I got bit by the coaching bug, I'm just like, man, if I'm going to coach this thing, I'm going to try to coach at, you know, the highest level, the next level. So, you know, reached out to, you know, Coach Napier. And honestly, I reached out to other coaches before, and, you know, they told me they was going to give me an opportunity, but they didn't. Coach Napier was the only one that was gracious to give me an opportunity. You know, he didn't give me anything. He let me come here and earn everything. And that's one thing I'm going to always be grateful for. And so I've been here 2 years, man, learning and growing. And Marvin, I'm going to tell you, man, like, we think we know everything about the game of football from the player side. Man, from the coach's side, it's a different world, man. So that's what excited me all over again, because it's like, damn, I've been playing this game for 20-some years, and there's more to learn about this game. Oh, yeah, man, so I'm in. So my transition, man, out of the game and dealing with all that, getting drafted, because getting drafted, man, was one of the best feelings. It was one of the best feelings to be able to get drafted by somebody like the Chiefs. Because where I'm from, small country town, we don't get that opportunity. You know, only other guy has been able to get out is Robert Horry. So it's just like we don't get that opportunity. So it was bittersweet, man. But if I could go back and do it all over again, I would be more grateful, because I felt like when I got there, I wasn't grateful. I had entitlement. I'm not gonna lie, I was entitled, kind of somewhat of a big head. I just won 3 national championships. It started all 4 years. What can you know what I'm saying? Got drafted. Like, I looking back on it, I wasn't myself. I wasn't playing my best ball. Like, it was bad, man. It was bad. But those are the things, like, I had them growing pains that I'm going to help, you know, the next player out, so he don't go through the same heartache and ups and downs. But, yeah, man, the transition is tough.
Well, I got to tell you, man, I you know, when I heard, you know, about that and everything that was going on, I was actually worried about you, brother. And I tried to reach out to you, but the number I had for you at the time didn't work. And because I get it, you know, when you get big, you got to change your number because everybody can't have access to you. But, you know, everybody who I talked to, nobody had, you know, how to reach you. Because I know, like, mentally, when you're going through that, there's not many people who understand that feeling. You got to have gone through it yourself to understand it. That's one of those things I always tell people. Don't ever try to tell me how I should feel or how I felt when I got hurt if you've never gone through it. Because when you're at the top of the food chain and you're the best of the best and it's snatched from you, unless you've been there, you know nothing about that feeling. And unfortunately, I know about it. So when it happened to you, I was like, I know he going through a lot because, again, I done been there. And I know them days you talking about, them dark days when you questioning what you gonna what them thoughts that go through your mind. They not normal thoughts, but again, unless you've been there, you'll never understand it.
And that's why it was crazy because I thought about it. I was like, when you was like, man, I've reached out to people and everybody I talked to ain't heard from you, seen you. Like, man, it's just, I just felt like I let people down. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, I let people down. So I don't want to go back to Alabama. I haven't been back to Tuscaloosa since 2013. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, my old teammates are mad at me from 2009 because I didn't go back to the 2009 celebration. And it's the reason being, I'm coaching ball now. I have a goal now, and I want to try to become one of the best coaches of all time. That's my goal. So it's just like, man, I've had that glory. I had that time, and I'm eventually go back. But, man, that's just, I don't know, man. And you can test to this. Going back to Alabama is going to remind me about my failures in the NFL. You know, how I wasn't able to get over that hump. You know what I'm saying? So
but you can't say it's failures. When you get injured, that's something beyond your control. Now, if you're completely healthy and you just go out there and you squander the opportunity like some, then yeah, you could probably say you didn't achieve what you wanted to, or you were a failure. But when you're injured, it's a different mindset. You can't approach it like, because I know you think like I think. You're a perfectionist. You want to be the best of the best. So it makes you harder on yourself. So when you didn't hit this goal that you knew you would do most of your life, it eats at you. It still eats at me to this day. Oh, I know. Trust me, I still think about it several times, and it still eats at me to this day. But it also drives me to be great at everything else that I do. Because I feel like because I didn't hit this, then I got to go conquer every other thing on my list that I set out for myself. That's why I'm so ambitious. That's why I work so hard. That's why she always telling me, you do too much. You're too busy. No, I got things I got to go accomplish. And the only way to get those things accomplished is for my work to match my goals.
And it's crazy you say that because of that, you know, one is the Nick Saban effect. And I think, Joseph, I think that's what I was saying to you is it's a Nick Saban effect because I don't have time to go and do those things because I'm trying to become the best at this. But it's crazy you say that because now my whole mindset has changed in how can I leave a legacy that my kids and their kids and grandkids can benefit from. So that's my mindset. I want to leave a legacy that's going to give my kids, their kids and grandkids 2 feet up. You know, I wasn't fortunate to have those 2 feet up from my parents or from my mom and my dad, but I want to be able to leave some type of legacy. And that's my mindset, man. That's all the ups and downs that I've learned from the game of football, being able to fight through adversity on 4th down and 3rd down. That's how I look at everything I've been through, transition-wise, everything, man. So that's what I get excited about. I get excited about fighting through adversity. Like when adversity comes, I get excited. A lot of people, I get excited about it. Like people never understood in college. My best days of practice was when it's 100-some degrees outside. Because I like that fight of adversity and to be able to look around and see everybody else struggling, but I'm still going. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little selfish moment, but
no, it's not, because I'll be honest with you. My other half, she always, when something's going wrong or some issue comes up, she's all anxious and worried, and she looking at me, you just over there smiling and laughing. You don't take nothing serious. It ain't that I don't take it serious. It's I'm not worried. Right. Because I know this is when I'm gonna perform at my best. Because for me, when I get an adversity, my mindset kicks in. Okay, how are we gonna defeat this? How are we gonna get beyond this? Not, oh, something bad's happening. No, something bad happening. Okay, then I just got to go figure out what I got to do to make this bad back right, or to resolve the problem. And you know, when you have that mindset, I'll give you one piece of advice, brother. Are you married?
I am.
All right, good. Me, I was so dedicated to being successful. I just got engaged this past February because it was like, I ain't got time today. I got stuff to do. Literally, I just got engaged at age 40. Because because after I got injured, it was all about being successful, man, and conquering every task that's on my list.
Well, the thing for me, it's just I don't know, man. I didn't want to let my mental thoughts and personal thoughts, whatever, affect her. So I just kept going, man. I kept going. Luckily, she loves the games just as much. She went to Alabama too, loves the games just as much as I do. So, man, I completely get what you're saying, man. I completely get what you're saying because it took me 8 years to propose. So it's like, I completely get it, man. So,
that injury flipped another switch you didn't know you had in you.
Right.
I've been there. I know.
Look, there's football players that go through the high school level, the college level, and the NFL level, and don't even look at a championship ring. Mm-hmm. You got 3, not to mention the SEC championship ring, not to mention what you probably did in high school and junior high, and your little 12-year-old trophies that you won as a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? So, you got a lot to be proud of. And man, the Alabama fan base, I'm speaking for the Alabama fan base. We love you and we want to see you succeed. And, Marvin, I like you a little bit because I don't want to get too emotional, but with that said, hey, that's it. I just want to let you know, man, the fans love you, man. And just, hey, when next time you do decide to go back to Alabama, just know that, the fans can't wait to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate those kind of words. Seriously.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking this time to share with us today, because we all know what today is, baby. We all know we about to get real nasty tonight. So I just want to thank you for taking that time out, because I'm about to go begin my game day preps. We're going to talk about what that is, but just know it's going to be some fun tonight. So
everybody that's watching, we advertised this in the beginning of the show, physical and mental fitness at 40 plus. You got to forgive me. I'm under the weather today, but with that said, physical and mental fitness at 40 plus. Now listen, Nico, here's the cool thing. If you buy now, he'll autograph first copy. He'll autograph it for you. Now, hey man, since you are
if Nico want a book, I would send Nico one for free.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Nico, if you're a former Alabama player or a friend of Marvin's, he will send you one for free. However, if you looked up to Marvin as a child and a fan of Marvin's and somewhat of a acquaintance of Marvin, you do not get one for free. You have to pay for it. So I'm just gonna let you know. So
hey, I'm gonna go buy it, man, because I heard him last time, a couple of days ago, talk about it. I'm gonna have to get it, even though
get that. No, don't buy it. Don't get the Alabama free discount. You don't get a CTS discount.
It's a support thing. It's a support thing, man.
Man, Joseph is a hater, man. If you ever in Atlanta, man, and you want to work out, man, just hit me up, man.
Yeah, man, I gotta get back into my routine, man, because my knee been killing me a lot lately, man. It's because we on turf every day, and I gotta get my body. I just stopped working out, man. I gotta get my body readjusted and just get back into it. And I started, but I just gotta find time to stay consistent, man. Because I don't know, people don't realize, like, even coaching, you got to be in shape to coach football. You got to be.
You standing up. You standing up for I don't know how many hours at a time. That's why I stopped coaching, because the way my knees set up. I ain't really. But in this book, though, man, the workouts are designed so that you get in shape and not hurt yourself and still get the results you want, man. But I'm serious about my fitness stuff, man. I don't play about that. So
I got you. I'm gonna definitely give me a book, man. I'm gonna definitely give me a book and get on it for real. Because that's my problem, man. I just, it's so tough with, my time is already limited. So
right.
I'll trust somebody else, word like yourself, and be like, okay, that's what Marvin said we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna follow this. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm gonna just work. Because time is already, I ain't got time to sit back. You know how you're not going to be successful when you're trying to work out and get gains or whatever when you don't have a plan or a process. Like you can't
that's why you gotta get a gym at home, man.
Yeah.
See, look, man, I'm gonna see something. I'm gonna put you up on game, man. So I'm sitting down here in my gym now. I'm down here.
Hey, Joseph, Joseph, they have their own gym. Everybody ain't able to have a little.
I was watching the Auburn game. But you see, I got a full commercial gym in here. Leg press, sauna. Oh, we got benches, bands. Man, we got everything in here, man. We got the full.
Nico, the second time I interviewed Marvin, before Marvin became part of the CTS, the second time he took me to the whole tour of the gym. And then every interview after that is one thing he hasn't done yet. And he's probably going to. He's going to show you his abs. So go ahead and let's get that out of the way.
Negative. Nobody going to show nobody no abs, man. Stop being a hater.
Oh, my God. Go to the San Antonio Beard interview. Go to the Kenny's. Go to the
man,
Kenny
they was
interview.
asking me fitness questions. What you want me to do? Not answer?
Hey, are you going to close us out or are we going to celebrate
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another. Oh, man, never mind. It's over. It's over. Episode's over. It's done. It's Joseph's fault. But ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you, Nico, for coming on, man. It was a pleasure, as always. And like I said, man, from the moment I met you back in 2009, I could tell you had something in you that was going to make you great, man. Nothing but proud of you. And if you ever need anything, brother, you got my number. You know how to reach me. And remember, if you ever need me, just hit me.
Yes, sir. Same here. Likewise.
All right, man. You take it easy and roll tide.
Yes, sir.